Hey guys, this is the FPL Tips team, and we're back with another video. It's been a while. I know we've not been around for a while. It's been a long game week, more than us. But hi, Akhilesh. Welcome back to this video. We're not doing a live stream today, but how are you doing?
I'm doing good. It's been around, I think, 17 days since the last deadline, and it's just been a snooze fest of a game week. And I don't remember what happened in the game week, to be very honest, because it's just been split around. But it was a fine game week. I think Palmer captainers got the last laugh for that game week because Saka blanked, and there was a lot of points to be gained around the Liverpool lads. So I think it was a pretty fine game week, not too boring as such, but yeah, it was pretty long and but yeah, now more than that, the eyes over the last 17 days were not totally on Premier League football with respect to FPL, but the other competitions which are happening, which say the Carabao Cup, FA Cup, the African Cup of Nations, and the Asia Cup, and these were the ones where I think all the eyes were, and the first news to break out in all of this was obviously Salah getting injured during the African Cup of Nations, and a lot of controversial things happening around it, when he'll be back and all of that. We can come back to that a little later and discuss about like when it would be to bring, if we have to bring Salah, or when it would possibly be that he will be back. Other than that, I think the main focus should be around the Carabao Cup semi-finals, which happened, and also the FA Cup fixtures. So if you could pull up the graphic, I think. Uh, I mean, predominantly this video we are here to discuss the double game week and blank game weeks, which are coming our way right now, and it's the most exciting part of the season, where planning is not very straightforward. It's not just one dimensional. You can look into a lot of different options, where which means templates change, and yeah, I think it's an exciting part of the season, and we can get started looking into it game week by game week.
Yeah, I mean, this is what this video is about. We'll be talking about blank game week, double game week, blank game week 26, double 25, and potentially a bit of blank 29. We'll touch upon that. But only this time frame, we're not going beyond this. I know there's going to be more doubles beyond this, just heads up. But let's focus on what's coming up ahead right away. I think let's just
Yes,
go into that.
yes,
So
yes.
we have this graphic.
So from the information we have right now, Chelsea and Liverpool have progressed to the Carabao Cup final, which means they will be definitely blanking in game week 25. There's still a very slight chance Chelsea could play that if they lose their FA Cup game, but mostly because of TV rights and all of that, I think they will not want to clash it with the FA Cup games. So
Yeah.
for that, I think that will be mostly a blank game week, where four teams will be blanking. You can see the chart over here. The teams which are not in the green, the Venn diagram, which is in light green, is Liverpool, Luton, Chelsea, and Tottenham, who are going to be blanking in game week 26. And to make it more interesting, we already have a double game week to a 25, double game week 25 announced, where Man City and Brentford will be doubling. Man City have two home fixtures: Chelsea at home, Brentford at home, and Brentford have a couple of difficult fixtures: Liverpool at home and Man City away. But yet, it's still a double game week, and you see Brentford right in the middle of the Venn diagram, which is because they are the only team currently which will be expected to play the double game week in 25, the blank game week in 26, and also the blank game week in 29, because they are out of the FA Cup, and their opponents Burnley are also out of the FA Cup in 29. So, and yeah, basically the point is, our planning around this particular time should be around which Liverpool players, which City players, and if uh, possible, a Brentford player or a Luton player, we would have to bring. So that that's basically around this. If you could go to the other graphic, we can also look at it on how it's spaced around, and what are the information we will get. Uh, post this game week. But
Yeah.
for now, I think we have, other than the announcement of double game week 25 for Liverpool and Luton, I think we have a lot of information around game week 25 and game week 26.
But again, just to add, like it's more than certain that Luton and Liverpool will double in 29. I think it's about 96% that it will happen. And also, just to highlight, FPL Spaceman has made this graphic. He's very good at making these Venn diagrams. He's done them for years now. He's going to do it ahead for all the other double game weeks that happen as well. So in case you want to see those visuals, you can go and follow him on Twitter. But moving on to the Lego Mane graphic that we have, here's how they've spaced out, and here's how the overall bigger picture looks like.
Yeah, I can take you through this as well. As I discussed,
Yeah,
the one which is the double game week we see, which is announced in game week 25, and game week 26. It's a free midweek for Man City and Brentford, so it has been placed over there. It's also a free midweek for Liverpool and Luton as well. So that's why we expect the likelihood of it being placed there, and also that Liverpool are in so many different competitions. So finding free midweeks in the future might not be very straightforward. That being said, I think it's around only 3.5 weeks away. So we might, if the likelihood is high, and we might get an announcement of the double game week also pretty soon. And if we get that information, I think we can like 100% start making our moves towards getting Liverpool players as well, along with the City players. Um, so we can also look at the midweeks which we have, where we get a little more information for more so for game week 29 than game week 26, because Chelsea and Aston Villa will be facing each other in the FA Cup round 4 replay, and that is a very important game, because the losers of this game will be playing in game week 29, and the winners of this game will likely blank, provided they beat Leeds and Plymouth in game week 27. So that is the significance. Before game week 24, we will get the information of which team will blank in game week 29. So if you want to plan a little distant, because I think at this moment the priority should be planning for game week 25 and game week 26, but also should be keeping an eye on game week 29, because if it could completely relate to the kind of strategy you would want to use. But still, if at all you don't want to use your free hit in game week 29, just keeping an eye on these fixtures would work. But that's not to worry until game week 24 deadline. That's when we'll get more information about Chelsea and Aston Villa. And moving on to the other FA Cup fixtures, we'll get more information on which teams will blank in Game Week 29 after the Game Week 26 deadline. So that means Game Week 27, Game Week 28, Game Week 29. These are the 3 game weeks where we will have free transfers to navigate Game Week 29 if we are not using a free hit then. So that we can just pull out the FA Cup fixtures uh, around Game Week
yeah, yeah.
27 also. So if yeah, this is how it looks. Newcastle are playing Blackburn or Wrexham away, and if they win that game, they will blank in game week 29. Aston Villa or Chelsea, whoever wins, will be playing against Plymouth or Leeds. If they win that game, they will be blanking, as I mentioned, and the loser of the Aston Villa Chelsea game will be playing definitely, because West Ham, who Aston Villa are playing in 29, and Arsenal, who Chelsea are playing in 29, are already out of the FA. Bournemouth and Leicester should probably be an interesting game, because both teams are playing well right now. I can't call. It's a pretty tight game. And Bournemouth do play Wolves in game week 29. So Bournemouth's fixtures happening will depend on Bournemouth losing and also Wolves. And Liverpool have won their fixture. They will play the Watford or Southampton. We'd expect them to go through, and their fixture being a blank. Nottingham Forest or Bristol, you expect Nottingham Forest to win that game, and they will be playing Manchester United, and that will be another important fixture to keep an eye on, because the loser will play in game week 29. And then Wolves versus Brighton is another game where which has been scheduled in FA Cup round 5. I think we'll come with Brighton, and what is the probability of them be blanking, and then we have the other notable fixture, which is Luton versus Man City. and you again probably expect Man City to go through in this game. If we can move to the, I think the
The
fixtures prediction for Game Week 29. Just for a second.
Yeah, wait, let me fetch it out. Till then, we can talk about like I have the Brentford chart. We can fixture prediction something. I'll have to
Yes.
pull up again. Then we
From
can talk
here,
about
what
this.
Yeah, so from here, when we look at Game Week 29, I think we can see for sure that Brentford, Burnley, Fulham, and Tottenham are definitely playing. And since Aston Villa and Chelsea will be playing, Aston Villa and Chelsea, one of the losers, will be playing West Ham in uh, uh, Aston Villa will be fixtured against West Ham in 29, and Chelsea's fixture is against Arsenal in 29. The loser will also be playing. So that is the third blank game week, which the third fixture, which should be confirmed by the time game week 24 is there. So by that time, we'll know that three fixtures are happening for sure. And around the other results around, so if Luton and Nottingham Forest lose to Manchester City and Manchester United respectively in game week 29, then they will also be playing that fixture. And there is a slight chance we might get another blank also if Wolves and Bournemouth both lose their matches. So we will be probably having around 4 to 5, three definitely, and then 4 or 5, and there is a very little chance to have 6 game weeks also, six fixtures also if both Brighton and Man City lose. That's a very slight chance, but yeah, mostly it should be around 4 to 5 fixtures in game week 29. So that's a pretty big blank game week where most of our players might not be playing. With us also looking at game week 25, game week 26, and navigating to live towards Liverpool and Man City, I think yeah. So that's somewhere we should be keeping an eye on while making our transfers. So this is a bit distant, and a lot of information will come. Our opinions will change. So I would suggest not to commit to any of these fixtures and make these transfers now. But it's something we should keep an eye on, and information we will be getting around this time with the FA Cup fixtures which are coming up. I mean,
Yep.
now I think we can get back to discussing more about the teams. We going ahead to game week 25 and game week 26. You can take us through.
Yeah, it's basically a lot to process, but I think for people who are looking at this, who are not too much into like who will get on, who get out, I think we can assume that it's going to be a 4 to 5 matches in Game Week 29. Game Week 26 is a guaranteed blank, so you don't have to worry about it. It's nailed on, and 25 is also a guaranteed double. So the only assumption part comes down to Game Week 29, which I think is pretty straightforward once we see the draws. And here's the percentage table Akhilesh was talking about. I do feel a lot of people are just ruling out Watford and Southampton. So Liverpool, just watch out. There could be an upset there, but I think the other fixtures and matches are pretty straightforward to go through. Bournemouth, Leicester again, yes, but then Bournemouth's fixture is too dependent on the other two teams as well, Wolves and Brighton. So wouldn't regard it
Yeah,
as one of those fixtures which will fall into 29.
yeah. Southampton haven't lost a game for a while now, and that's definitely there. But you'd back Liverpool to go through
No, it's
playing at Anfield.
a historic thing that club doesn't really pay heed that much to FA Cup. Now he might because it's the last season, but historically he's just very negligent about FA Cup.
Yeah, that's there. But you like I think with Chelsea and Arsenal coming up, the team he fielded against Norwich was pretty strong. So I
Yeah,
think the perception has changed a bit. When Klopp had a very slim squad in 2018, 2019, he was definitely neglecting the FA Cup because he wanted to concentrate on the league, and the team was doing well in the league. But now I think Liverpool have one of the best depth of the squad, and he's clearly used the most number of substitutes, the most number of options, around 17, 18 players who have played a lot of minutes. I think Liverpool could still
yeah,
field a pretty strong team, and I'd expect them to go through along with Man City and the expect and also Newcastle. So we can look into a blank over there a little later. But Now let's just come to game week 22, 23, 24, 25, and what would be our plan going ahead of this. And you can take it from here. Discuss on how many Liverpool players and City players you have
So
right now. Who are the watch list players? We can discuss a bit of Salah and also a bit of Brentford and Ivan Tony. Certain Ivan Tony was back.
I'll discuss it from here because I'm coming from a point of view where I'm not that. I sort of was off football for a while, so it's something from the viewers' perspective as well. I've not planned it anything. I've not planned anything at all before this video. So on the looks of it, I see till 25. I have certain teams which will continue to play till 29, which is City. So it's pretty essential that you have three City players in place from now till the end of 29, depending on your chip strategy. But again, let's till 29. Let's assume it's till 29. Liverpool is sort of tricky. You have two tough fixtures going up right now, which is Chelsea, Arsenal, sort of mixed bag, and then you have Burnley and a double, then a blank. Then again, two sort of tough fixtures to go, and probably a blank again. So I think Liverpool are the most trickiest sort of team to navigate. Brentford is pretty easy, straightforward. They have fixtures all throughout, so you can just look at one at max two if you want flecken. But I think one should be more than enough from Brentford to deal around with it. And Luton is pretty avoid in my head. I think that's where I am. But in terms of considering the next 3 4 moves, I think the priority should be City players, and then we should talk a bit about who or what I think or you think in terms of City players. I think Haaland takes his place. He'll be fit by 25 at least 24, so he takes his own place. I think the debate is between Foden, Alvarez, and Kevin De Bruyne, and I think the third spot up is for a defender for me. What do you think?
I think that there's a big viability to go three attackers also as well as going as two attackers and a defender, because I don't see like I'm not very convinced with the third Man City asset to be a defender. I'm actually looking into getting three players who are Haaland, Foden, and Alvarez, because one reason is the upside. I don't see it to be in any Man City defender, and I don't really trust anyone but Walker to start all of
Yeah,
these games coming up. I think they will be out here and there. And the other reason is also is I think currently in my team specific, I think I have Pedro Porro, I have Gabriel, I have Trent, and I have Estupinian. So I wanted to take this because I think along with Man City, Liverpool, Brentford, Luton, I think it's also important to discuss what you do with your Spurs and Chelsea assets,
yeah,
because they have a very high chance of like Spurs are already playing and Chelsea have a good chance to play at 29. So suppose you are not using your free hit in 29. I mean, I again being in a very open mind, and it's not definite that you should not use it, but just being there and navigating that blank in 26 by keeping hold of your Spurs and Chelsea assets. I think that's something that will be very tricky, because if we so most of us have say Palmer, and some of us have
I mean,
Richarlison
Richarlison. Let's say
and
he,
Pedro
they're
Porro.
yeah,
Pedro Porro. I think three assets we definitely own from Tottenham and Chelsea, and we will all be keeping an eye on Son as well when he's back. And if we do go with Liverpool players for blank game week 26, for double game week 25, and if we look at three players, say I think Nunez, Trent, and if Salah is injured, Jota, and we can come and discuss again about how to bring in Salah and all of that. But if we do have three Liverpool players, two Tottenham players, and one Chelsea player, I think we go into blank game week 26 with six players blank, and that's something that will need to be addressed. And uh, it does give you advantage of keeping hold of Spurs and Chelsea players. Then you can have them for the game blank game 29, because if
yeah.
you do have your Arsenal players also, I think that's five or six players you already have who will be playing in 29. So that's again a very tricky question to answer, and who you will be removing to bring in the likes of Jota, maybe a Foden, or De Bruyne if you want to bring in.
I think it comes so. Like first, let's wrap up the City talk. I think you said your for preferred is a three attack. I slightly differ. I still feel Walker is pretty much nailed. He should be. I because I historically feel City scores like are very distributed. Like the points are not they're very scattered. They're not very centralized. Apart from Haaland, So Haaland, maybe Foden, and then a third defender is what I'm looking at. Alvarez, he's a good pick, but I would take up Bernardo Silva as you in case if I'm going for the third attacker, I would prefer him over De Bruyne again. If you can afford, there's a proper case to go De Bruyne because you don't have Salah as of now. You have enough money, so you can take that bet. But that's where I am on those things. And in terms of Tottenham, Chelsea, and Liverpool, my thinking is we go in with Palmer and Richarlison. That's one each. I think I'll get rid of all the other dead sort of players I have in 25 or 20, before 26, which is Poro goes out of my team. Maybe earlier as well if you can. Apart from that, when it comes down to Liverpool players, now again, three Liverpool, and I take one of those players carry forward in the blank. So that's three blank spots taken, and I take a hit for the other two. So that's what I'm thinking. And now it's you could be in a situation where you have two free transfers in 26, and then you can navigate it easily. But I think that's more idealistic to approach it rather than having when you have like sort of six or five players blanking. It's also to address that the other players you'll have will not be the easiest fixtures. I mean, Bournemouth, if you have sort of Solanke, it's a tough fixture. Arsenal are playing Newcastle again. You might have two or three players from the same team playing against each other that fixture, which is also a tough fixture to sort of navigate. And I think that is why I'm pretty much in the state of mind where I'm okay taking a -4 if required, an extreme -8 as well before I use my chips and then try to cover it up.
Yeah, I think -4 is definitely viable in Game 26 when we have 5 or 6 players blanking. And because going forward, I think I think I will take it up just player by player, comparing whether at that point in isolation, and also maybe I wouldn't mind even playing with 9 or 10 players in Game Week 26 or Game Week 29,
Yeah,
because if I do feel that keeping hold on to someone makes sense, because for me I think personally keeping hold on to Poro does make
could
sense because
yeah
the
it could make sense.
fixtures
Yeah,
around are good. And I think so I'm more leaning towards removing my Liverpool assets in 26, whether I have two or three, because they don't have the best of fixtures, and they could black in 29. They have now Nottingham Forest away and City at home, and you can
yeah.
navigate this without your Liverpool players. And if they black in 29, uh, you can bring them back in 30 or 31, based on what your strategy is at that point. So that's what I feel around Game 26. I think still a lot of things to be decided, but
But
mostly I'm looking to go towards Game Week 25 two with 3 Liverpool, if that game is going ahead, 2 or 3 City, and I have Flecken already, and I will be looking
okay,
at
okay.
Tony. So that's how
But
I am going down
just
this
to
yeah.
make it more optimized for other viewers, I think idealistically you want to aim at Liverpool players in 24. Try to get them in 24, as
Yes,
many as you
yes,
can. Maybe with two free
yes,
transfers, maybe a hit. I think Burnley is a good hit fixture because you somewhere will take a hit. If that's the case, if you have limited fixtures, you have more transfers to make. Take the hit in 24. Make use of it.
yes,
Ideally,
definitely.
if 25 is possible to be a safe, save it. 26, you'll have more information. It will be much better to use those two free transfers. And I think that's how you navigate. You load up onto City in the next two. I think those are prime fixtures this week. Prioritize City players if you haven't. 23 again, if possible, add up City if you can. Add up Liverpool if you want to. 24 before 24. 24 is Liverpool again. 25 you just hold. I don't think you have to sell anybody. You can probably sit around at 25. It's a pretty you'll have enough players from each game week. Uh, Maybe in 23 you can use it for. Maybe 23 is actually a save. 22 get a City player. 23 you save. 24 you use it for Liverpool and maybe Tony if you want to. So those are two
I,
transfer spots. And 25 you again hold. 26 you dispose them off.
I
That's
think
how I
it's
look at these.
important. Yeah, I think it's important to roll a transfer in 23, because by 24 we will get
Yeah,
news around Chelsea and
Chelsea.
Aston Villa.
Yeah,
So if Chelsea do go through, then I think removing Palmer is viable, because he will be blanking in 26 and 29, and doesn't have the best of fixtures. He has Man City away
yeah,
in 25, Brentford away, Newcastle home in 27, 28. So that will make sense if Chelsea are going through in the FA Cup. If Aston Villa are going through, it will make sense to hold Palmer. So around 2023, 24, you will understand which sort of midfielder to remove for a Liverpool or City midfielder in 24. I think mostly Liverpool midfielder 24. So I think it's important to hold your transfer in 23.
Yeah, I
But
think I
coming
agree.
back to
Yeah.
Man City, and I have two questions to just put out. One is the questions around Haaland for Game Week 22, because if he does play, he's the best captaincy option, and if he doesn't, the captaincy option is just up in the open for you to
Yeah.
put on any of the players. So, what are your thoughts around
I mean, if he's there out there, if people are, if Pep comes and say he's going to start, I'll bring him in and captain him. There's no doubt about it.
it?
60 minutes
Definitely,
versus Burnley, it's pretty straightforward. Don't overthink him, and you want him later on as well. So it's not like it's a short term transfer. It's a pretty long term transfer. Don't worry about it. Uh, if there is no Haaland, let's say there's news that he might play, but he's not going to start. In that scenario, we have Foden versus sort of Alvarez, a debate that's going on. I think Richarlison is the third captaincy option. I wouldn't look beyond these three. I don't think there are any good fixtures to even actually look beyond these three.
yes.
Where
Yeah,
I'm
I
slightly leaning towards Foden if I have Foden. Uh, I feel Brentford are much sort of they just got a win after so many games. They're high on sort of a bit of confidence after Tony's back. Uh, Richarlison could do good, but again, I had Richarlison captain in one of the past game weeks, and it's a very bad fest. You see him play, and he gets shots on target, but he misses big chances. So,
He does, he does. But
yeah,
I think he takes chances as well. And
yeah, he gets an on
that
target.
being said, a big factor for me considering Richarlison for this game week is Madison returning, and
Yeah,
the volume of chances he'll be getting with Madison back. So I just think I will consider Richarlison as a definite option as well. But I do think the City guys are a little ahead of them, and I'm
yeah. I
leaning
think
towards captaining
City
Foden
guys
as well.
could be a. I mean, I wouldn't want to not captain a City guy in a Burnley fixture, so
Yeah,
that's
in a
where I
Burnley
am.
fixture. I agree.
Yeah,
And I think, yeah, I think it's unlikely that Haaland starts because he hasn't played a
yeah.
single minute and he's been out for a month or a little more than that. And I don't think he will start this game. So I think holding the transfer down till even 24 makes sense. Uh, I think
But
also with
hmm.
yeah. So I mean, you can finish it and then I can ask my second question.
No, I mean that's I agree with that. I don't have any much like nothing much to add with the Haaland part. I think he's pretty straightforward. I don't see him starting either. And Richarlison is a
Yes.
viable captain option, but again, I prefer the City boys only because of the Burnley fixture.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. And the second question is to sum up your three favorite City assets for Game Week 25.
Again, I'm pretty biased. I think it has to be Haaland. If now again, it is very big if, but if there is sort of scope that De Bruyne could start those two, De Bruyne has to be there. If not, slash Foden. So it depends. Like if he's getting minutes, he's nailed on. Get De Bruyne if you have the fun. Otherwise, Foden is decent. For me, the third spot it has to be a defender, and it's also because I feel that there is a couple of defenders which is I think could be Diaz if you have the funds. Walker is doing good. Stones could be starting all of these games. Maybe one off out of the next six, which they have 6, 7 they have. So I think there's an investment to be made there, and it could pay off.
Hmm. Yeah. On the other hand, I don't think I'm going there. As the reasons I discussed, I have
Yeah,
3 to 4 defenders who I would want to keep hold of for the long term. And I think my two definite ones would be Haaland and Foden slash De Bruyne. I think I'm more sure it will be Foden because I have Foden right now and I don't think De Bruyne will play both the games. So we will see. We will see if De Bruyne does suddenly become an option. I think keeping Fed funds around for that might make some sense. But my third option, if at all I go for three City players, which I most certainly do, will be Alvarez. Is where I am. I think there are minutes. There is a minutes
there's
risk, but
minutes risk.
there is a scenario where all four play also. So I don't. And Alvarez has been very consistent, and he's been playing regular minutes for them. So he will be counting on Alvarez to get them through these important fixtures because yeah, at this moment Man City
Can
are
happen.
chasing
Yeah.
the title.
I,
So yeah, That's where
I
I am.
agree to that point. Yeah,
Slightly
but
touch upon
and
the Liverpool.
I was thinking in my head. I was thinking we can touch upon the Liverpool assets, but again, in the next two until 24, a lot could change. I mean, there's always, as of now, if you look at now, it's Jota, Darwin, Trent. It's pretty standard. But in 24, there's going to be new news regarding Mo Salah. That's going to be available. It depends on how they get fixture lined up and what teams are they playing till then, because uh, the midweek game versus Luton could be a sort of tricky one because you have the AFL Cup final just after 3 days after it, 3 or 4 days after it. So you'll have to take a lot of into consideration in 24, and I think planning right now till 24 is probably not the best idea. If you still want to buy someone, I think Jota is still your best bet. I would put my money on Jota. He's in form, he's looking pretty good, so you can put your money there.
I think it depends on the spot you have. And if you have a Foden and a Saka, I don't think getting Jota right up makes a lot of sense for for the very reason which we mentioned, that if Salah is back for 24 or 25, again, I mean, another very important reason to hold the transfer in 23 is because if Salah is back in 24, you might want to move your team around to bring back Salah. Because
Yeah,
I think for the game week 24 and game week 25, game week 25 is a genuine triple captain option if he is fit.
yeah, if he's fit, if he
But
looks good in 24, why not?
yeah,
Yeah,
so that's the reason why I would not want to transfer a Liverpool player in and a Liverpool player out with Jota. If you already have the likes of players with around
yeah,
7 million,
fair.
8 million, 9 million, a few of them. Which is why I think going on the other way, I think Darwin Nunez is currently a very equally good option to Jota as well. I know he misses chances here and there, but I think in the absence of Salah, he looks very lively. He looks like he's set up. The kind of finishes he's got around also. I think he looks pretty good in the absence of Salah, and definitely someone I will be having for the double game week, which is why I think just moving, if you want this week, just moving ahead and getting Darwin, especially if you also can like bench him for the Arsenal game, or even play him. I don't think it's a first fixture for someone who's leading the attack for Liverpool. So I think that there I'm slightly leaning towards Darwin. I think Jota is definitely an equally good option, maybe slightly better, but it's the structure that makes me
Yeah,
lean towards Darwin for game 22. And the reason that if Salah's around, you might want to bring in Salah, and Jota's position might need to be clearing funds for you for getting Salah. So that's the reason.
no, I agree. Fair enough. I mean, I wouldn't say a lot on Darwin Nunes. Uh, obviously, he's made his point with the points he earned last week, but again, Darwin Nunes is your bet to play, not particularly mine. I wouldn't do it.
Yes, definitely. Um, but I,
But
I think I think if I do go for Darwin Nunez and then Haaland and then that third striker spot does go between Alvarez or Tony. So that's another choice which I personally have to make for my team. And
yeah,
it depends on the funds I have, and I will be probably leaning
and
towards
also
Alvarez. And
Watkins. I mean, you can't rule out Watkins has a beautiful run of fixtures around it. Although
yes,
he's not
Watkins.
getting points, but he's got good fixtures around it.
Yeah, Newcastle, Sheffield, Manchester United, Fulham, and then Nottingham Forest, Luton, Tottenham. I think my plan would be to bring back Watkins for Darwin in 26 if I go for Darwin,
Yeah.
and and then look at the fixtures 26, 27, 28. If he plays 29 in 29 as well, I think that's the time where Watkins does become a very important asset. And yeah, that's it. That's where we are around with the Liverpool players as well. I think my
Okay.
three options will be. I think our three options will be the same. I think it's Trent,
Yeah.
Darwin, and
Same.
one of Jota and Salah, depending on the Salah fitness questions. Yeah, I mean,
And we can
slightly touching up.
actually like delve deeper into the conversation of whether you want Salah or not in 25, and it entirely depends on his fitness. So I really don't want to get into that conversation right now because it's all hypothetical. Maybe he's fit, maybe he's not.
Yes, definitely,
Is he looking
definitely.
fit? Maybe he's not back till 25 at all. So
Yeah,
maybe
I
it's
don't
a
think we should
conversation to
have a
have in
def.
24. Yeah,
I don't think it's a definite plan to get back Salah for now. And if Salah's not injured, you can get in Jota just like that. So
Yeah.
I think the important thing is to save your transfer in 23, and that's where I think I'm stressing a little more on, because if we get news about Salah, I think if he's back fit, he starts all 3 games. Even with 26 being a fixture, I think he plays maybe one like 60, 60, 90, 90 in those 3 games, 90, 60, 90 or something. If he does come back fit by 24, which is
Yeah.
pretty unlikely at the moment. But again, it is definitely hypothetical. But having a plan around
Just
if
keep it in the
Salah
back
is
of
back
your
fit.
mind. Yeah. If Salah
Yeah,
is back, you need to
is back.
adjust
You
your
need
funds.
to, yeah, exactly. So it's a very big player to miss out on. So
And that's
that's
also the reason I wouldn't commit. Maybe you can commit to De Bruyne and then you'll have enough funds to jump to Salah, but you sort of have that plan, or don't commit to Trent, in my opinion, because commit to Trent obviously means shrinking fronts too much, and then you
right
have
now.
to
Yeah,
remove a defender. Too much hassle to move
right.
a defender right now. So wouldn't really commit to a plan specifically. I think wait till 24. 24 is more crucial. By
If
then
if
we'll
you
have enough
don't,
news.
yeah, and if you don't have Trent right now, I would say don't get him in this week.
I don't think. Yeah, don't jump.
Because you can, again, as I said, 3 Man City attackers are viable. 3 Liverpool attackers also definitely viable if you think these three are going to start. And at this moment, I think Jota and Darwin, it's going to be very difficult to drop them when Salah's in. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
one
I
of them
agree.
will be benched around the game, but I think there's still a very high upside for the Burnley game, for the Luton game, to have over him. So that could also become an option. So I think it's a little open. The only person I would transfer in and nail this week would probably be Nunes, for all these different reasons. But if you can of like hold it, if you have a good team. Otherwise, also I think it's good to
Yeah,
it's good to go with that.
I agree with that.
And yeah, can move on to just touch upon the Brentford assets. Yeah, so just to look at anyone
I
else
think
around.
I'm not looking at them right now. It's very open. So for me, it's either Tony or Darwin in 25, and I'll wait and see because I don't trust them right now. If you want to, I think it's only Tony who I really realistic feel, because he's on penalties. He's sort of the talisman he's always been. And if you have Flecken, that's a bonus. I wouldn't jump on any other assets. I wouldn't make a keeper transfer for sure. I don't think it's worth it. Neither of the fixtures, are anyways, clean sheet fixtures, so it's sort of a dull transfer to make.
Yeah, and it doesn't seem like Abumo will be back for 25.
No. So this
So
is pretty much it. And
yeah,
that's also the reason I've kept in mind that you don't necessarily have to jump on Tony because he has a double, because one, it's a tough double. Two, without Bumo, it's sort of their counter-attacking threat reduces a bit. He's pretty good at that, which they do a lot against the tougher teams, and that's
yeah,
that's
that
something I'm
that,
having in
that
my mind
just
as well.
increases Tony's assist potential as well. And
Yeah.
yeah, I would definitely give a few games for Tony before, because he also
Jumping
has
into, yeah.
he also is not very cheap. He's 8 million, so
And his
definitely.
fixtures beyond are not that great either. It's West Ham, Chelsea, Arsenal. I know Burnley is good, and that we can figure out through a free transfer later on, or through whatever chip strategy you develop. But he's not an urgent transfer to keep in mind or keep a place for.
Yeah, definitely. Um, uh, just one point I'd like to mention,
Yeah.
which is not very important here, because if you do look at the graphic in the screen, I think there is Gameweek 27, Gameweek 28, a very unlikely but slight chance that Bournemouth and Luton could double, and that's the case where if we get information prior, is where I would maybe consider my Luton assets. Otherwise, I wouldn't touch upon it, because
Okay.
I
Yeah.
think
Yeah.
in that sense, I think there are too many fixtures to look at. Then maybe a Kaminsky or a Doughty or maybe an Adebayo could be options. But again, they if they occupy player the spots, I think Adebayo is a no go because he occupies a striker spot, and
Yeah. I agree.
then maybe it's only looking at the defender. So just something to throw out. But I think it's a little unlikely. So I think I will stay away from Luton.
Yeah. I'd stay away from them as well.
Okay.
But that's
You want?
pretty much
I
about it.
think a couple of more things to discuss. I think we've discussed the first thing. So just one more thing to discuss is mainly the triple captain in game 25.
Uh, in 25, I can you take it. For me, I'm not rushing to triple captain. Uh, That's where I am. Maybe if Haaland is fit, can consider him. Salah is fit, he's a better triple captain in my head. But I'm not rushing for it.
Okay, I mean, it's definite to point out like last week and the week, last season and the season before that. I think we had a few double game weeks around, and in that
Yeah,
sense, triple captaining like had more options. But now I think if you do go to the other uh, the Venn diagram, the
yeah,
descending
the
Venn diagram, which shows
34,
the
37.
34, 37. This is again very high speculation Venn diagram, but currently what we know about who play in 29 and who have the likeliness to play in 29 from the same prediction. And also, I think it's a pretty useful one, which will become more useful once we know a lot of information. So I think we will be pulling this up again and again in the coming videos. But I think there's a large double game week possibility in both game week 34 and 37. Very slight touching upon it. I don't think there's any need to plan for it now. But if it is around then, and I think if I do use my free hit in one of these game weeks and my
Yeah,
bench boost in the other game week, then I don't think there's a better game week to triple captain than game week 25. So again, it all depends on the information we have, and this is a decision which we should take in game week 25. Uh, I don't think there's a better week to triple captain than game week
I,
25. I would also like to touch upon a couple of things. Sorry, before I finish my point. I think Chelsea and Spurs are blanking in 26, so that would be scheduled. And if it is scheduled outside of any of these double game weeks 34 or 37, which we don't know for now, might or might not. In that sense, I think Son could be a triple captain option. So again, it's very high speculation. We don't know what kind of fixtures they are, and if we do get more information about that, and the only other option who I would not, I think it would be funny, but I wouldn't go there, is to captain Solanke when he has a Luton home and maybe another favorable fixture whenever Bournemouth double. So that
I,
is that. These are the options around for triple captaincy.
so I brought this up again. You look at the fixtures that are going to be postponed for these big teams. Again, Tottenham has if Chelsea to be postponed, to be put in somewhere, and then they have City if potentially that's postponed or put in somewhere. So you're looking at two fixtures which are inherently tough. So it becomes a sort of 1.5 game week and not a huge two double game week, two triple captain.
Yes.
And when you look at the even City has 34, 37, both sort of game weeks, they have one tough fixture and one sort of easy fixture. Could end up with two tough fixtures as well. I think Liverpool is the only team which later on will not have that much scope, and there could be a lot of rotation happening because they're into a lot of competitions, deep into those competitions. 25 suits them because they have two sort of easy fixtures where you can triple captain. So if Salah is fit, I think it should be a strong consideration to triple captain him than 25. But otherwise, you can then figure out later on of how City, what sort of form they are. Maybe you want to take a plunge on City in 25. I'm not very confident, but again, Haaland could score in any game week, so
Yeah,
can't
I
rule
think
it out. But
if Haaland is fit and firing in 23 and 24, everyone is captaining triple captaining Haaland in 25 is what
yeah,
I feel. I
that could
think
be the case. It depends on how fit he is right now.
yes.
But yeah, just
Anyone
wanted to make
outside
a case for Salah.
anyone outside Haaland, Salah for Liverpool City are maybe
I
options.
wouldn't.
No?
I wouldn't.
Yeah,
Because I know
I
for
would
sure
take
that
it.
some game week
Uh,
I will find, like, I'll have one more slot somewhere where I can captain either of these two, or maybe just in an easy fixture. It doesn't have to be a tough fixture. If I know Haaland is playing some easy, I don't know, they play Burnley or like Fulham or some Luton up ahead, I know he could score their sort of hat trick, and he's got De Bruyne now back for his service as well. I'm happy triple captaining on a single game week as well if he's got sort of good form, good fixture.
I think the strongest triple captain outside Salah and Haaland for Game 25 is De Bruyne. If you know he's playing both the fixtures.
Yeah,
But the others is it's like very punty. Even Jota I think is a little punty at that point, and definitely Darwin is very punty at that point. So I think I'll take it up, and it's a question which to be answered in 25. I think
or
the
24 at
more
least.
uh, I mean 25 is when we have the deadline, so it's a question that should be answered in before the 25 Game 25 deadline. I think we'll have more information around it, and we might have information around the double game weeks. I think we'll also deeply discuss in 25 what are the other possible chip strategies, and around that, looking at any triple captaincy windows, and then I think it will be a little more clear whether triple captaincy in 25 makes sense or not. But for now, I think the most of the planning should just go around getting
25,
City and
26. Yeah.
Liverpool and maybe Brentford players, looking at the game week 25 double game week, and then not having to meet, keeping an eye on Chelsea as versus Aston Villa, and then seeing if you want to remove your Palmer or keep, and whether you want to keep hold of Richarlison, Porro, and your Tottenham players who are blanking in 26 and who definitely have fixture in 29. So the main things that make the decision is the FA Cup game, which if that confirms a game week for Chelsea and Tottenham in 29, I think it's a very important thing. Uh, and yeah, so keep an eye on that.
Okay.
Hold your transfer in 23 is my suggestion, I think. And then a lot of things will be answered.
I think I agree. There's not much there's left to add from my side as well. I think it's pretty much overall it. And we discuss captaincy as well. I think we could have a deadline stream tomorrow. So, in case for that, please keep an eye for that. I
Yeah,
think,
and at a lot of places it's today as well. So
yeah, for today as well. Yeah, I was just
it's
gonna add that. Yeah,
it yeah. So let's discuss more of that in the deadline stream, and the and look at some of the outside options, because one thing that points out to me is that if there's no Salah, Haaland, Son, I think there
there's
are a lot of
opportunity.
different options. There is opportunity. You can go to other options, and anyone could call for you. So that's something which will need a little bit of deep dive in. But yeah, currently in my bus team, it's all Foden.
Okay, I think let the viewers find it out on the deadline stream, and I'll be sending in my team as well. I won't be doing the deadline stream today slash tomorrow for certain places, but we'll see you guys the next time we record a video and the next deadline for sure. But till then, we'll sign off. Is the FPL Tips signing off? Is the FPL Tips team signing off? Cheers.
Cheers.